India this summer, and it was definitely just a life-changing experience for me. I don't look at anything the same way. And yeah, it was like 12 weeks and just an amazing time. And so this is my essay. 12 weeks. Over the course of a lifetime, this may not seem like much. How many people have made a New Year's resolution in January but have not made any real changes come March? How much can you really change after only 3 months' time? At the risk of sounding too bold, and possibly a little pretentious by answering my own question, I'm going to just come out and say it. A lot. If we could measure this change in a physical unit, it would be half the size of India, or it would be the size of India itself. When I began contemplating participating in an internship program in Palampur, a rural town located in the foothills of Himachal Pradesh, India, I felt that 12 weeks would be an ideal amount of time to explore the region and learn more about the culture. I expected to find out a lot about water contamination and related illnesses, the focus of my internship, and to pick up on some Hindi phrases. Little did I know, 12 weeks is enough time to challenge you to reevaluate how you define yourself as a person and your relation to the world around you. I was aware that spending my summer abroad would be a great learning experience. I would have the opportunity to immerse myself in a completely different culture, one so colorful and unique, held together by historic ties and long-standing traditions, yet also heavily influenced by the effects of Western ideology and globalization. As a comparative cultures and politics major, I felt like I had finally had the chance to apply the theories and concepts that had been pounded into my mind in the classroom into real-life situations. This was a chance for me to implement the anthropological definitions to the world beyond my own backyard. From the moment I left the airport in New Delhi, I was surrounded by enough stimuli that it would take me a lifetime to process it all. Indeed, every day I tried to soak up as much of the experience as possible, and at times I felt mentally drained from the effort to hold on to everything at once. India was a whole new world to me, from the tiny vehicles that honked and sped past the cattle that roamed the streets, to the fragrant scent of spices from food being made in the various shops in the market. I was afraid of missing anything, or worse, to have it slip away before I could fully understand it, much like water slipping through the cracks of your fingers. Everything I saw, I tried to break down to fully grasp its meaning and significance, and I was constantly asking questions about anything and everything. However, throughout the course of the 12 weeks I spent in India, I learned so much more about myself and the person I want to become. It seems ironic that I should learn more about myself when looking to learn about people in another culture. Many of these self-discoveries came from interactions I had with people I had worked with during my internship. For most of the 12 weeks I spent in India, I worked on an epidemiology project which focused on water contamination issues in Durred, an extremely rural village near my residence. I would visit Durred with a translator and interview families about health concerns and water-related issues. I also worked with a local private doctor to administer medication and organize a health camp for the villagers, complete with free examinations and prescriptions. Every day I spent in Durred was a humbling experience. The residents live in houses made of mud and clay with only a couple of rooms, and there is no plumbing system, contributing to the large amounts of bacteria that seep into the communal tap systems. The average annual income per family in the village is equivalent to about $600 US. I've written checks for more than this amount before. Seeing the conditions these people lived in was an eye-opening experience for me. It is one thing to read about poverty, but it is completely different to see it firsthand. It made me reflect on how privileged my life is and how much of this has been unearned. I was simply fortunate enough to be born in the United States with all of its luxuries. Even in our current situation, when most people have taken economic blows as a result of the recent recession, there is hardly any comparison. I may complain about stress and about the student loans I have to take out, or how I have to stretch my biweekly paycheck to pay for groceries, but these seem like problems of entitlement compared to worrying about obtaining worms from the local water supply and earning enough money to afford fruits and vegetables to sustain a family. Other experiences in India helped me prioritize my life appropriately. I am guilty of standing in front of my closet, which is packed with a full wardrobe, and complaining about having nothing to wear. On average, the residents of Durred each own about 3 full outfits. After spending 12 weeks of dumping buckets of cold water over my head to bathe, it was almost a shock to use hot water in a shower head after returning to the States. I began feeling grateful towards things I had never given a second thought to in the US, such as waste management systems, which I had never completely appreciated until I was in a nation that burned their piles of trash on the side of the road. I have come to realize that there are many trivial things that exist solely for comfort and are not crucial to my self-definition. Perhaps the most pivotal self-realization I had in India was how much of an impact I can have on others. This may sound incredibly cliche, a typical one person is all it takes to make a difference statement. But in a way, this is true. It truly amazes me that I was able to form such deep relationships with the families in Durrett over 12 weeks of my internship. Even with the language barrier, we were able to communicate with the help of a translator. The residents of Durrett came to trust me and began to open up during our interviews, asking questions and really becoming concerned about the health topic. On the day we held the health camp, nearly the entire village made a trek up the significant portion of the mountain to the village center to attend. I drank tea with the adults and played with the children, who came to refer to me as their friend. I instructed them on the importance of everyday health procedures, and in turn, they showed me how to appreciate what I have in life and to use every advantage I have to reach out to others. It seems strange that all of the experience I had in India can be packed into a 12-week time frame. The person I was when I departed on the trip is surely not the same one who stepped off the plane 3 months later. I've gained a deeper perspective on what exists beyond the comforts of my life in the United States, and I am more aware of the unearned privileges I possess. The interactions I had with the people in Durrett and the relationships I've built have truly impacted my outlook on the world and have encouraged me to put my life in a proper perspective and use the advantages that I have to reach out to others. Thank you.